So good to be with you this morning, to remind my mind and all of your minds that all is well, and to let that feeling gel, to let all is well start to gel, so you can taste it and smell it and feel it and be it, and walk out of here on air with your feet on the ground, knowing the divine sound of the mantra of peace. Everything is all right. All is well. All of the time. No exceptions to perfection. Is there an exception to God's perfection? Even when you've managed to imagine disconnection, isn't it true that there's still God's perfection? And isn't it more fun to make the selection of remembering God's perfection than that you're a part of it all? Then you can have a ball. Then you can hear Spirit call, and you can answer that call with fun instead of struggle, with ease instead of pain, with self-love instead of blame. But there is a serpent in the garden, and that serpent is what we're here to talk about today, and that serpent is fear. No, it's not Eve. And everybody here was visited by fear at a young age. You were visited by an insurance salesman. I like to think of fear as an insurance salesman who convinced you that you needed the insurance and then sold it to you. And you thought it was the responsible thing to do, to be afraid. Fear is the ego's version of being responsible. Fear tells you that you're being responsible by imagining all these what-ifs and worst-case scenarios in your head, that you're preparing for the worst by going over it again and again in your head. And that's what anxiety and fear is. But you're creating all the time. We're always creating. The mind is nothing but a creation machine. Every thought, every emotion, everything you put your attention on is your creative power creating new worlds. So it would be wise to let go of fear and create with your faith instead. And that's what this poem that I'm about to share with you is about. This is a poem I wrote last year. It's called, "Oh Dear, the End Times Are Near." The end of fear. This was very cool in 2012 when everybody was all about the end times, but it's still a relevant poem. So gather my friends, because the end times are here. Not the end of the world, but the end of your fear. So turn down the lights, make it dark now, I dare ya. Stick around for a while, and I'm gonna unscare ya. Now when you were young and most things were quite swell, fear knocked on your door with a product to sell. And like most good salesmen, he cast quite a spell while selling you insurance called All Is Not Well. Now, All Is Not Well came in its own case. The case that there's danger all over the place. And after you bought it, your all is not well, you felt it your duty to share and to tell. And so word of mouth was how fear procreated with no YouTube or Facebook to disseminate it. Fear soon went viral all over the globe, using old-time religion to dispense and promote. Because fear knew the way to get globally big was to drive a false wedge between God and her kids. And that's how he came to be so domineering, by replacing God loving with you must be God fearing. So fear and religion began co-creating and cooked up a symbol of fear they called Satan, as if infinite love had a worthy opponent with pitchfork in hand who could pounce any moment. The concept was great for maintaining control, making people behave as if they're on parole. Because when God-fearing people are scared for their souls, they put much more silver and gold in the bowls. So business was booming and fear kept on spreading. And fear loved the credit the devil was getting. Because fear itself likes to stay hidden from view and play hide and seek in its host, which is you. I'm not afraid, I'm just angry, it shouts. I've been mistreated and need to speak out. I'm not afraid, I'm upset and I'm caring. There's so many disguises that fear enjoys wearing. He's proud of his wardrobe because he designed it, though he wouldn't admit it. Fear's quite clothes-minded. So he doesn't realize that he's often dressed funny, wearing layers of worry, looking like a stress bunny. And when you're not looking, he dresses you too in stress bunny outfits that don't become you. Because when you wear worry, it wears tight and stiff, from statically clinging to imagined what-ifs. Worst case scenarios fill your projector. Then fear says, don't worry, I'll be your protector. He shows you his life insurance policy and says, here's what you get when you sign up with me. You get top-notch around-the-clock security, an armored alarm system on your body, and if you're harassed, I'm your personal bouncer. And for making decisions, I'll be your guidance counselor. No more will I let you take risks that could hurt you. Just stick with me, kid. I will never desert you. Now, all of your loved ones have already signed. Don't be a black sheep. Join the flock. You'll be fine. So you signed up and breathed a big sigh of relief because you thought you'd feel safer with fear as your chief. But the contract had fine print, too fine to be seen, and you didn't read the clause that denied you your dreams. From then on, heart's desires that came to be birthed were blocked by your fears before they could reach earth. It seemed your new policy's whole life protection was more birth controlling than most contraception. How could you conceive of a life more abundant with fear in your ear like a cable news pundit who's yelling, I'm telling the truth, fair and balanced, while drowning out most of your love, gifts, and talents? Now, fear says, get real. That's his bottom line thing. And fear learned what's real from his friend Stephen King, whose collection of books make outstanding addictions as long as you realize you are reading fiction, which is what you can do with your own fear collection. Just transfer them all to your mind's fiction section. Because no matter how gripping a tale fear can tell, its original premise that all is not well is a bit topsy-turvy in this universe and deserves to be laughed off the face of the earth. And while you are laughing, you let in the light, which makes fear pack his bags and get on the next flight. Because fear needs to be needed. And when you choose joy, well, fear has no choice but to be unemployed. Fear used to feel needed when lions were chasing you, gathering speed with intentions of tasting you. But nowadays, most of the lions we find are fictional cats roaming round in our minds. And when you stop feeding the cats in your head, they just go away because they're not getting fed. And with a clear head, you are free now to choose a channel that's broadcasting much better news. So you get off your couch, turn off your TV, and tune into WLOVE. It's got no commercials, nothing to sell. Just a steady reminder that all is quite well. And all is quite well is insurance enough. You're already covered by a plan you can trust. You've got universal, the original plan. And there's never a moment that you're not in good hands. You're no longer buying fear's insurance scam because you know every moment you're safe in God's hands. You know every moment you're safe in God's hands. All is well. And then there's a part of the mind that says, nah, No, it's not. Have you read the headlines lately? Have you looked at my bank account? All is well? That's a cop-out. That's ridiculous. That's just not true. Let me tell you about real life. And dealing with that part of the mind is what the spiritual path is all about. Because how many people feel like that part of your mind is sort of like in control sometimes? Raise your hand. Own it. Yeah. You got an ego, don't you? So what are the tools that bring us to the awareness that all is well? Meditation, prayer, practice, just a practice to keep bringing the mind back to something other than, That's the ego's mantra. We're doomed. Pretty outrageously different realities. We're doomed. All is well. We're taken care of. No way, Jose. Yeah. It's like night and day. It's heaven and hell. It's fear or love. And we always have that choice to listen to the voice of fear and give it our power. And how do you give fear your power? By giving it your attention, by giving it your focus, by giving it your belief. How do you give love your power? By giving it your attention, by giving it your focus, by giving it your belief. And there are ways to cross the bridge from fear to love. Relaxation, bubble baths, meditation, celebration, humor, joy, playfulness, forgiveness, compassion, gentleness, recreation. Did I mention celebration? God loves it when you throw a party in the face of danger, in the face of fear, in the face of war, in the face of something where you actually have a festivity, where you actually begin to celebrate and levitate your way through the darkness to the light. And for some strange reason, I've been given the gift of being able to rhyme my way out of fear. So let's do something like that right now. Give me something that brings up fear for you going on personally in your life, and I'm going to rhyme you rhyme it and play with it. That means you get to raise your hand and say something in the middle of the service. Yes? Say again? You've got a hip... You did a hip revision? So your hip has already been revised? The new hip is old? The old hip replacement is so old that it's not holding. So you might need a new hip replacement. They don't get very good rest? Press. Like in... When you read about revisions the statistics are not great. Okay. So I got to make a decision about this hip revision. It's not something that's done with precision. I look at the statistics. They don't look too terrific. And I got to ask myself, do I want to buy the statistics or tune into something else? Tune into a voice that's going on inside myself that might say yes, that might say no. But when I tune into it, I start to glow. I start to realize a body I am not. And I don't give it all the power that I've got. And I start to get hip and give fear the slip. I start to get hip and give fear the slip. I start to get hip, and I'm in a relationship with my faith, and my faith needs no replacement. It just needs fine-tuning. It needs my attention, and I love crooning and singing and bringing my faith to light. And I realize I can take this body with a grain of salt, that this body is not who I am, that this body can understand that it is a vessel for my spirit and my soul. And sometimes I'm not in control. Sometimes I don't have a say. Sometimes all I can do is pray. And I pray to be guided and provided with the perfect hip replacement for my old new hip. I'm giving fear the slip, and I'm enjoying this trip. What fun. Thank you for being courageous and raising your hand. Does anyone else want to play with me this morning? Yes, in the back. Debt. 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 Sometimes I try to forget. I'm up to my ears in debt. I'm so up to my ears in debt that I'm getting financially wet. Can I swim? Can I drown? Can I look around and see abundance when I don't feel it, when it's not in my bank account? I can count what's in my bank account, and it's not very hard. It's just $1 or $2, and that's not feeling good. God, help me, help me, help me, help me get out of debt. Help me walk through the valley of the shadow of debt and fear no scarcity. Because I am a miracle worker. And things can change in the twinkling of an eye. And when I let go of fear, I rise to the sky. And I don't need an alibi. I can just be the power that really starts to flower and blossom out of debt into financial integrity and responsibility and prosperity. Because that's who I am. And as I raise my vibration and join in God's celebration, I notice that debt takes a permanent vacation. I don't know where it goes. It doesn't really matter. All I know is that abundance is on my platter, and I can give thanks for that abundance before it arrives. I can let go of this fear that I'm trying to survive. I'm not here to survive. I'm here to thrive. And God made it easy. God made it breezy. God made it so that it is natural. All natural. I take off the clothes of fear, and I go in the buff, and I am free and clear of debt. And so it is.